So, the funny thing about the Warrior Cats fandom is that the most popular controversies and points of debate regarding the characters themselves almost never stem from a new book because, as a fandom, most people are not caught up with the reading. Most topics of debate are ironically pulled from simple 1 or 2 sentence author statements because they are short and our attention spans are tiny. Sometimes an author statement can subtly hint at Ashfur's return before the first Broken Code book can even release. Sometimes an author statement can cause ship wars between Silverstream and Millie fans. But the debate I bring to you today started for a reason far more small than even Silverstream Shirley. This comes from the Warrior Cats website's family tree. This family tree for the most part acts to reflect what is presented in the books, not create any new additions to canon. As a result, there are plenty of empty spaces with question mark cats and so forth. There is a feature where you can divide cats by clan, and when you select Dark Forest, we only have 5 cats. Mapleshade, Clawface, Juniper Claw, all 3 confirmed to be in the Dark Forest by the books. And then you got Stumpytail and Frecklewish, who, to this date, have never appeared in the Dark Forest. I fully believe both cats being categorized this way are plain and simple mistakes. When you have this many cats to put into categories, for some of the more minor characters who never showed up in StarClan or the Dark Forest, you're not going to know what to do with them. And rather than leave them unclassified as they should have done, they just threw them in categories that seemed reasonable on their end. No one argued about Stumpytail because he was a Broken Star follower, so the website team's logic checked out there, even though I personally still see it as ignoring canon. But then you have Frecklewish. The decision to check the Dark Forest box for her makes no sense. I will 100% stand by my belief that her being here is either a complete error or a decision made by someone who didn't read Mapleshade's Vengeance. Or both. Now, most of the people arguing for Frecklewish not deserving the Dark Forest are talking about it in terms of ethics, and comparing the crimes of Frecklewish to the crimes of Mapleshade, but to be a little different, I only want to use the in-universe logic of the Dark Forest and Warrior Cats. As revealed by the trial in Squirrelflight's Hope, whether a cat goes to the Dark Forest is entirely dependent on StarClan judging the times said cat broke the Warrior Code. So let's try and walk through the times that Frecklewish could have broken the code to decide if there is a genuine reason for her to be rejected from StarClan. 1. She attacked Mapleshade. This was after it was revealed to the clan that Mapleshade used her dead brother's name to cover up for her love scandal. Frecklewish jumped on Mapleshade and clawed her. Since they are both ThunderClan cats, this could be interpreted as Frecklewish breaking Rule 1 of the code. She is not defending ThunderClan by attacking one of their own. However, I would argue against this. Mapleshade herself has broken Rule 1 by taking a forbidden romance with Appledusk. She has split her loyalty. And the cat she is splitting her loyalty with, Appledusk, has broken Rule 14 of the code by sending Birchface, Frecklewish's own brother, to a watery death in order to win a battle. It was just revealed that Mapleshade had ties to a cat who is not only in the enemy clan, but also a cat who had killed Frecklewish's brother. It is completely within reason for Frecklewish to believe Mapleshade is a threat to ThunderClan. Therefore, I don't think she has broken Rule 1. In this case, she is showing loyalty to ThunderClan over a cat with a tie to RiverClan. 2. She wanted innocent kits exiled from ThunderClan and called them half-clan creatures. This could be interpreted as breaking Rule 12. No warrior may neglect a kit in pain or danger, even if the kit is from a different clan. But again, I argue against it. For one, Frecklewish is experiencing shock and grief. Her words in this one moment shouldn't be the basis to judge her whole life. 2. Frecklewish did not exile the kits. This was all Oakstar's doing. He was the only cat with the authority to exile the kits, and as such, he is the sole reason the kits were exiled. If any cat was to be sent to the Dark Forest for exiling the kits, it should be him. And guess what? The same family tree that tells us Frecklewish was Dark Forest says Oakstar is StarClan. And 3. If we want to get technical here, the 3 kits were not in any pain or danger until Mapleshade made them cross the river, so the wording of the rule itself can be questioned. However, I do think my first 2 points in this matter are stronger. 3. She watched Mapleshade's kits drown. Now this would be the far more likely way that she could have broken Rule 12 about neglecting kits in danger. But we just don't have enough information to call Frecklewish guilty here. We have the word of Nettle, who says Frecklewish saw Mapleshade swept off the stepping stones and the rivercline cats on the other side of the river able to help, and the word of Frecklewish herself, swearing she thought the kits would be saved. If Frecklewish's testimony stands, she would not be in the wrong here. She would have no reason to believe she stood a better chance of saving kits from water than RiverClan swimmers. She wouldn't be neglecting the kits because there was no action within her power to improve the chance of them being saved. And if it really was the book's intention for Frecklewish to be malicious, they would have revealed it or showed Frecklewish in the Dark Forest. But that just doesn't happen. I think it's fair to say that Frecklewish did not break the code enough to overwhelmingly deserve the Dark Forest, and arguably, she didn't break the code at all. If any cat from this book, aside from Mapleshade, deserves the Dark Forest, it's not Frecklewish. It would be Appledusk for killing Birchface or Oakstar for exiling kits. But the family tree calls those two StarClan. So taking all my analysis into consideration, Frecklewish being labeled as Dark Forest can only be a mistake. The only other argument you can make for Frecklewish being sent to the Dark Forest is the flawed trial process discussed in the Broken Code books. Obviously they made the wrong call on Ashfur. Juniper Claw and Snowtuft were in morally gray situations because they had redemption arcs. Who's to say they didn't make a bad call and send Frecklewish to the Dark Forest by mistake? But to that I say, no. Such a bold and elaborate addition to Frecklewish's story simply could not exist without a future book to introduce it. And if the Warrior Cats team was planning to make this big reveal that Frecklewish was mistakenly sent to the Dark Forest, and she has been suffering all this time, they wouldn't spoil it on a website family tree months ahead of that book's release. Plus, the website's editing team probably doesn't even have access to those sorts of spoilers. Dark Forest Frecklewish could be a fun idea for an AU, but this theory holds no water for the actual books. So yeah, that's where I stand on Frecklewish. When making a judgment on a character, and your two choices you have for evidence are an 88-page novella featuring said character, and a single checkbox on a website, please go with the novella. Alright, bye everyone.